everyone. Welcome into a fresh hour of CBS Sports HQ. I'm Jacqueline D'Agostino alongside Haley Sutton. It's a busy time of the year in sports. There's a lot going on, a lot buzzing, so we're going to get you caught up on what is trending. And Eagles fans, you can breathe a sigh of relief. I feel like every single offseason we talk about the tush push potentially being banned, but yet, Haley, it lives on.
It lives on, unfortunately, for the rest of us who have to play against the Eagles. The tush push continues.
And you guys play them twice a year.
Yeah,
so
we do, including week 1 of the season. Thanks so much, NFL gods out there, for that. Listen, they did what they needed to do. They sent out Jason Kelce to the rescue, and whether you like it or not, the brotherly shove is here to stay. The Eagles recognize it more than anyone. Take a look here at this picture. Of course, this was against the Packers, and the Packers were the one that proposed the rule. And unfortunately for Packers fans, the Eagles are pushing on that proposal to ban the signature play. That tush push failed to get 75% of the votes at today's owners meeting in Minneapolis. They came up just 2 votes short. That came after Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie and retired Eagles center Jason Kelce spoke out in favor of keeping the play to owners today. It's a big victory for the Eagles, who used the play on their way to winning a Super Bowl title this past season, as we all remember all too well. Let's discuss the ruling with our 2-time Super Bowl champ, Bryant B-Mac McFadden. B-Mac, so it's the proposal does not pass. It misses the majority by 2 votes. Was this right, in your opinion?
Yeah, I have no issue with this. The biggest issue I had was getting to this point where they were on the verge of banning a legal play, a play in which we have yet to see any data that shows players getting injured, a play that we've yet to see anything surface that there was some type of illegal rules involved that allowed the success from the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm all for this play. Do I actually like watching the play? No, I don't. But I have to respect the mindset for the Eagles to be able to add creativity to the quarterback sneak. And it is something about execution that has allowed Philly to be more successful than any other team that has tried to implement the tush push over the last 3 years. Haley, Jalen Hurts, he's had 33 touchdowns of 1 yard touchdowns. The next best player is Josh Allen, right around 14 touchdowns. So clearly, Philadelphia has found the strategy to be able to put this play in movement to be successful. They have the mindset and the execution. So it's not just about Philadelphia just being lucky. No, they found a way to execute this play, and it's a copycat league. Other teams have tried to do the same thing, but they clearly haven't been as successful as the Eagles.
Yeah, I was trying to find it on social, but I saw somewhere where the Eagles have over 80% success when using the tush push. So if you are other teams out there, B-Mac, who have maybe tried the tush push and been unsuccessful, or even tried to stop the tush push unsuccessfully here, what is the answer if we know that this play is going to be in the arsenal for Philadelphia in 25?
Well, the answer is repping it in practices. But the issue is it's hard to rep the tush push play as a defender or as a defense in full real-time speed because it's a pileup. So it's very, very hard for defenders or defensive coordinators to come up with opportunities in practices to be able to be at their best. So I think it's just a mentality side of things, Haley. It's just the mentality. I think the confidence that Philadelphia has plays a big part in their success, and just the mental makeup of the entire offensive line unit, especially the interior guys, the mindset of the quarterback, and also the mindset of the helper who is pushing Jalen Hurts, not to mention pure brute strength in terms of lower strength. When you look at Jalen Hurts, he's been known to squat a lot of weight. The same can be said for Saquon Barkley. So they have the right personnel and the mindset to be able to be successful. And as a defender or as a DC, you got to find a way to get that same mindset involved in that particular play if you're going to have consistent success against it.
All right, no one has found that consistent success as of yet, but maybe now that we've got some time to prep, hopefully the Cowboys are trying to find a way, because we know they open that season week 1 against the Eagles on September 4th. And B-Mac, it's interesting as the offseason goes on, we kind of continue to peel back the curtain with the Eagles. We just learned today that they'll be one of 4 teams featured in the in-season version of Hard Knocks. That'll be focused on the NFC East, but we know the bigger spotlight will be on the Buffalo Bills, who will be the full year or the team, I should say, that's represented for Hard Knocks in this upcoming season. As we know, when it comes to the Bills, B-Mac 13-4 last season. It was a season that once again ended at the hands of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Are you excited to kind of get a glimpse of what that looks like behind the scenes out at training camp here, or what excites you about getting to know the Bills a little bit better here on the show?
I'm excited overall because anytime Hard Knocks is on, football is right around the corner. So it's almost like the appetizer for the main dish. But I love this selection by the league in selecting Buffalo to be a part of this year's Hard Knocks series. And yeah, they have quite a few unique personalities attached to the team. Josh Allen is a very, very unique individual. I've had multiple opportunities of talking with him. He's entertaining, not to mention his skill set. So just seeing what goes into his day-to-day routine that allows him to be one of the best quarterbacks, of course, the MVP from the league a year ago, what's his day-to-day routine is. You look at Keon Coleman. I had an opportunity to spend some time with him this past summer. He has a very unique, entertaining personality as well. Dion Dawkins. So they have some nice characters on that team that I think would be camera-friendly in terms of knowing that you can see who they are when they're not wearing their helmet. And by the way, this is a team that should have championship-like aspirations as well. So let's see exactly the foundation that Sean McDermott is creating there as they get ready for this upcoming season throughout training camp. So I'm all for it. I really love this move for the league. Like I said, I want to see a championship-like team get prepared. You know, usually we see teams that are selected for Hard Knocks probably not considered legit champion contenders to date. But for Buffalo, as we see it, I think the consensus would say Buffalo definitely should have championship-like aspirations, and we get an in-depth look to see that foundation being created during training camp.
B-Mac, it's interesting that you bring this up because as we bring this conversation to a close here, I want to show you the teams that have been featured on Hard Knocks and the success that they have had to this point. It's the Rams. The Rams are the most successful team as they have been featured on Hard Knocks. So in your opinion as a player, B-Mac, what scares you more, this Hard Knocks curse that you get featured on the show and your season doesn't end up very good, or being on the cover of Madden and the Madden curse and what comes with that?
I'll say the Madden curse.
Okay.
If there is such a thing, I understand that used to be a thing that was talked about a lot. But the reason why I would say that, Haley, is because it's only one individual on the Madden cover. In terms of Hard Knocks, I think he would want to shy away from the entire team aspect of it all, based on that graphic that we witnessed. But I think most players would say, you know what, I'll stay away from the Madden cover. If you had to pick either or, I don't believe in either side really playing a big part in the lack of success or whatever the case may be. But if you had to pick one for sake of argument, I probably would say Madden curse.
Welcome back to CBS Sports HQ. When it comes to the Chicago Bears, it was a tumultuous year one for Caleb Williams, the most sacked quarterback in all of the NFL last year. So the team went out and got him some help this offseason, most recently extending Joe Thuney. However, the drama continues for Williams and the Bears. It's all stuff that Ben Johnson's going to have to deal with here in year one, stemming from a book release saying that Caleb Williams didn't even want to be in Chicago. Well, Caleb Williams isn't talking, but Ben Johnson is.
It's come to my attention that the quarterback's been out in the media over the last week, and just to get out in front of that a little bit, I just wanted to say I wasn't here last year, and so I can't speak too much in terms of what it was like before he got here and when he got here last year. But from my 4 months on the job, he's been outstanding to work with, and we just are focusing on getting a little better every day. It starts with developing a rapport and a trust, and that's earned over time. You don't walk in day one and expect that to be achieved. And so the more time we spend together, he understands that I have his best interest at heart, and vice versa. He's going to go out there and play as well as he possibly can, not just for himself or me, but for the whole team and the city. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So we're very much aligned in terms of what we want to get done, and it just takes more time on task in terms of getting on the same page with how we're going to do it.
It's hard not to smile when Ben Johnson's talking. His smile just makes you want to smile as well. And as promised, we're smiling because we've got our two-time Super Bowl champion, Brian B-Mac McFadden, back on the show with us to discuss. B-Mac, you know we got to pick up the conversation there with Caleb Williams. And just to remind everyone at home, this conversation is stemming from a book that is set to come out. It sort of detailed Caleb Williams' decision when it came to being that #1 overall pick. There was some information in there, B-Mac, that said that there was one point they were considering the UFL over going to to the NFL. So there's a lot of accusations in the book. That being said, the Bears chose to make Caleb Williams unavailable today, so we won't hear from him. We'll have another opportunity next week. But in your opinion, when it comes to Caleb, do you like the decision to not hear from him today? And how does he navigate this while he's trying to navigate year 2 in the NFL?
Well, I can kind of understand, Caleb's stance currently with the media, because clearly that book has gained a lot of traction. But if I'm Caleb Haley, I own it. Yes, I felt some type of way knowing that Chicago potentially could draft me. And you know why? Because Chicago has been below average in terms of producing high-level quarterback play. I mean, think about the storied franchise that we're talking about, Haley. The Chicago Bears, Halas Hall. I mean, there's so many prestigious things attached to that organization. But if you look at the quarterback position, I mean, average at best. I mean, they've never produced a 4,000-yard passer at the quarterback position. Think about how long the Chicago Bears have been in existence, especially if you look at the last 4 or 5 decades, and look at so many other organizations that have done phenomenal jobs in developing quarterbacks and being able to get the most out of those said players. The Chicago Bears, they haven't been able to do that. So if you're Caleb Williams, before you were drafted to the Chicago Bears, you probably did feel some type of way. He looked at Chicago like how a lot of young quarterbacks probably look at the Cleveland Browns. That's quarterback hell. You don't want to go there. So Caleb, man, don't be silent. Just embrace it. Because if you're a fan of the Chicago Bears and if you're part of the media and you have been covering the organization for quite some time, where's the lie? Like, you guys haven't really been like that at the quarterback position. So he was probably a bit, afraid to understand I'm walking into a situation where the quarterbacks haven't really flourished. But they drafted him. He made the most out of his rookie campaign. And now look who's his head coach now, Ben Johnson, one of the more coveted offensive minds that we've seen over the last few years in the National Football League. Yeah. So all is well, but that was the mindset. And if I'm Caleb, be straight up about it. What lie did I tell? Yeah, you guys haven't really been good at producing quarterbacks.
There's some reason to have some hesitancy. I will add, to put a bow on this conversation, that Williams has not spoken publicly about this yet. I am sure he will be asked at some point, but his father did refer to Chicago as the place that quarterbacks go to die. So to your point, B-Mac, there were some concerns there. We also know that there are some potential concerns. I don't know if I want to call it concerns just yet, but when it comes to the Commanders and Terry McLaurin wants a new deal. He is at the end of his rookie deal and would like a new one. I think the numbers speak for themselves when it comes to what Terry McLaurin is owed, B-Mac. Is this just a matter of we're waiting for the right time, we're waiting for the money to be right here? What's the holdup here in getting him extended?
It's a matter of time. This deal will get done. One thing we know about Terry, since becoming part of the Commanders, he's been a quality player on and off the football field. He's one of those voices that you really listen to in the locker room. He's a leader. He's been there his entire career. He's been nothing but a consistent player for the organization, regardless who the quarterback has been in throwing him the football. So just seeing him, being absent right now, it's just a part of the business side of things. And if you're the Washington Commanders, he earned the right to be paid and receive whatever it is he's looking for. And now is the time, because your quarterback is in year 2 of his rookie contract. So you see other organizations allocate money elsewhere when their rookie quarterback is still under these rookie deals. So this is just a matter of time. So if you're Terry and if you're a fan of the Commanders, don't be alarmed. This deal will get done before the start of the season for sure.
Good news for Commanders, bad news for the Bengals, who are now dealing with 2 holds out. One, of course, the veteran and Trey Hendrickson, who has just not been happy with the way they have proceeded. But the other, B-Mac, is a rookie, the 17th overall pick, and Shemar Stewart refuses to practice. He says there's some language in his contract that he just doesn't like. We talked before, this isn't unprecedented, but how concerned should you be now that you're facing both of these situations on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, for one thing with Shemar Stewart, I think he will get this resolved sooner than later. So I'm not really overly concerned about Shemar Stewart not participating because he's a rookie and the contracts are basically slotted, just the language. So, you got to change was to were. That's it. Just change a word or two in the language of the contract. He'll be out there with the rest of the guys on the grass. But in terms of Trey Hendrickson, I think there's a big gap of an agreement being put in place because of what he is looking for and because of what his play warrants him receiving in terms of compensation. for his services. So that is the most alarming part with these two defenders for Cincinnati. It's about the money. And for Trey Hendrickson, I mean, he led the NFL in sacks a year ago, 17.5. This upcoming season, he's slated to receive $15 million this year. So if you're Trey Hendrickson, no, I'm not showing up because I had more sacks in 2024 than what I'm supposed to receive in per year salary. And when you look at the market in terms of edge rushers, I mean, it has really been revamped, recently because of these big deals from these top sacking players like Trey Hendrickson has been over the last 2 years, especially there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, Joe Burrow said, pay the man. It's easy to say that when you're making $275 billion, but that's a story for another day. Our Bryant BMAC McFadden joining us here as OTAs roll out across the NFL. Plenty more NFL conversation to be had over on the Pushing the Pile podcast with our good friends Kyle Long and Mike Renner. You can check it out by scanning that QR code on your screen.